Hi and welcome everyone to another video. Today we will focus on modeling the foundation of the living room here and also the roof. And if you have followed the steps from last time, in this part in the living room we generated the floor in the type generic 150. So in order to create the foundation we have actually to change this one to timber suspended floor. Then you will get this kind of hatch here if you have the shaded activated. And then on this part we will model now like a type of a terrace, and for this part we will have to go to level 1 here to the axis of F and G. We will go to architecture and then floor, and now we take that 150 we had last time. So, and in order to create it, I will choose the boundary rectangle part. Now I will take from the axis to the next axis. Like so. And then we here. Now we will go to 3D. Now we see that we have here an intersection. And in order to avoid that in this kind of model, we can click it on 3D, edit boundary, and then when you choose the align tool, you can choose the inner side of the wall, and then the boundary line, activate align, choose the inner side, choose then the boundary line, and then that should do it for the visualization. Now also we have to adapt our level, because as we have said before, the most important thing when modeling is working with levels. And then now we have to create some piles which will go down into the topography, which we will also model in another video. But for now, let's go to level 1. And we will start from level, the grid D. And for that, we have to go to architecture and then component, place a component. And let's search pile. And now we will take this 600 times 600 times 900. Now we will create it in the middle of the grid D. And let's check it in 3D, and now we can see that it goes through the living room. Now we can click on it, and here on the offset we say 800 millimeters, and then now it will go down below the foundation level. And now we can hide our floor, and in order to do that you can click on the floor and then type or double type MH on your keyboard. So let's go one step back, so you can click on it. So you can choose your element and then double click H, the letter H, double click on your keyboard, and then it will be hidden. In Revit usually you have more than one workflow to create or to have the solution you want. You can also click on it and then right click on your mouse, hide in view by element, and then you will also get the same result. So this will be hidden for now. Now we can click on the pile and copy it. I will choose this endpoint to this at the wall, and then again actually it should be below the wall, so we will choose to align it with the grid. The same we can also do it here. So we choose this grid, align it with the middle line of the pile. But before that, we have to copy it for sure. And then now align, grid, choose the middle line. Let's check it in 3D. Yeah, now it should be as it should. And now this intersection, we will clear it in the later, at a later point, where we have to adjust the wall here. But for now, let's continue modeling the piles. So now that we have it here, we can choose the 3 piles. There's also one more tip. If you click here at one time and you want to click or choose many different elements, you can click on your in your control tab, and while click on it, while clicking in, there is also one more tip. In order there is also one more tip. In order to choose different piles at a time, you can click here at one pile of the foundation, and then while clicking your control tab and at the same time with the left click of your mouse, you can click or choose different items. Then now we can copy to the center here, once again here, and as I have seen it in the sample project, now we choose these 2 outer parts or piles, and then we copy it to 3 meter, which is 3000 millimeters, and that should be enough for the foundation. I think this part is more than we need to, so we can just click on it and then delete. And for now, we would have the foundation for the living room. So now, in order to create the roof, it would be more effective to go to level 2. Let's check again. So the roof will be from the grid C until the grid F. In order to create the roof, it's more the same like creating the floors. So we go to architecture, then the roof, and now we go by footprint. We are choosing here the warm roof for our living room. We have level 2, and we will also have an offset of 500 millimeters. And we said before we will go from the grid C until the grid F, but also from 5 to 7. And here we will choose our boundary lines, and we will say that we have no slope, and now we will have a flat roof. So we check it, and here if you check it on 3D, you will see that it created a roof without angles or slopes. All right, so now we will, as you can see here, we can also align this part. So actually, from my experience in modeling in offices and companies, when I have this kind of problem, I can solve it using Modify, Align tool, choose this inner side of the floor and then the outer side of the roof, and it will be moved to the exact same point. So now, as you can see here, we would need a kind of a stair in order to go to this floor. So we will go again to level 2. So in order to create the stairs above the roof, we will go to architecture. We click on stair. We will choose our precast stair from the properties tab. And now we will have to adjust some properties in order to have to on the right position. So now we go to our base level and we choose ceiling at a base offset of minus 200 millimeters. Top level, we choose level 2, and now you can see here automatically that it has calculated our numbers that we can choose, or the height of the actual stairs, what we can do. So now we go to our grid T and while modeling, you can see here the actual rises we can create. So we stop at 3. Now we can click on the stair and say that we need a width of 6,000 millimeters, like so. Let's check it in 3D. So here we can see that in the last video I've created here the floor a little bit wider than it should be. So again, no problem. We can also manage it, or so we can edit the boundary in the 3D view or at the floor plan. I can recommend, while editing floors and roofs, to do it in the floor plan, because here you can really adjust it like this. So we can adjust the boundary by aligning the boundary of the roof or the floor to the grid, to the actual grid that we need. So now it's more clean than before. And now for the stair here, we would need a kind of a precast element, or like a floor, in order to have the same level while going on the stairs. And in order to do that, we go again to level 2. I click on the stair, edit stairs, and now I can create the landing I need to. So again, here we have two type on how to create it. So we have here, for example, one is if you have 2 runs, you can click on the stair and it will automatically adjust the geometry of the landing. Or like in our case, when you just have 1 run, we can use a sketch in order to do that. How to do it? We just click on the sketch command, and then we create it in a rectangular format, like so. We click on yes. Let's check it on 3D, and you will see that Revit automatically also create this kind of connection here between the landing and the actual stair. Also, we see that the railing has been also adjusted or created automatically. Now we can see here that this kind of rail here in this part is not really optimal, because we want to go into the building from the roof. So in order to adjust this part, we click on the railing. Also on the edit path type, we have to delete this line. And now when you want to say continue, you can say that you have an error. And mostly when Revit gives you an error, the solution is really in the written error. So here we can see that the sketch has to be connected. So here we have 2 different paths, and that's why Revit can't create it, because it's not connected. So in this case, we can say continue, and we will delete also this part here. And then when you go to continue, you will see that the rail has been created only in this part. I think now we have more than one solution. Copy is not one of them, but we can go to architecture, railing, and we can place a railing on our stair. So just have to click on our stair, and we see again that it have created the same rail as before. So we can click on this one, we delete this path, these 2 paths, and we continue just on this side. Here also in our terrace, we will actually have a kind of a ramp, of a rail. So we can also again go to architecture, rail, but now sketching it. Let's go on level 1, and we go from the inner wall to the other side of the other wall. Click on continue, and here we have our railing. but we have to adjust our base level, not level 1 but level 1 living room. So nice. And we will also have to create here a railing into this part, I mean on the roof of the living room. So for this we will go to level 2, and as we said before, we have our roof until level F. You have also option to show the underlay or like underlay. So if you have an element which is under the level you have, like in our case, we can say that it can show us the elements hidden at level 1. So in this case, we can create our railings here, or if we know that it goes to level F, that's more than enough, I mean to the grid F. So we go to architecture, railing, sketching a path, and I will go from here. So that's not really clean, or I can also choose these pick lines, and that will pick the grids. So that should be F, like so. And then we with our modify trim extend to corner, I can click on this line here, 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 and then I can move this line to our, like so, to here, to the grid. And then you go to align, click the grid, the point, and again the other point, and now it should be exactly as we need to. Let's check it in 3D and change our base level to the ceiling, and now it's as we need it, as we need to have it too. So for the next video we will also do the same part for the other part of the building, and then I will show you the best way to clean this kind of intersections with Revit. So thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next one.